All right, let's jump right in. When you hear water damage, what pops into your head? Probably a flooded basement, right? Or a giant puddle spreading across the kitchen floor. But here's the thing, that mess you can see, that's really just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to talk about why the real problem is the stuff you can't see and how to go from that heart-sinking moment of panic to having a rock-solid plan. So picture this. A pipe bursts, or you notice a leak from the roof. Water is suddenly everywhere it shouldn't be. What's the real danger here? I mean, yeah, the ruined carpet is a pain, the soaked furniture is a huge problem, for sure. But believe it or not, those things, they aren't the main enemy you're up against. Nope. The real danger, it's the water you can't see. It's the moisture that's silently wicking its way up your drywall, seeping underneath your floorboards, and getting soaked up by the actual wooden frame of your house. And that hidden water is what turns a one-day headache into a long-term nightmare. Which, brings us right to our first big topic, the unseen damage. Because long after you've broken out the mops and towels, that hidden water is just getting started, quietly causing all sorts of structural problems that can be, well, incredibly destructive. So how do you even know this is happening? Well, your house actually sends out warning signs. Things like a musty smell you just can't get rid of. That's not just annoying, it's a huge red flag for trapped moisture. Or maybe you notice your baseboards are starting to look a little puffy or swollen, or your beautiful wood floors are starting to cup or buckle. These aren't just cosmetic issues. It's the materials themselves screaming that they are holding way, way too much water. And all that hidden water? It starts a clock. A very, very aggressive ticking clock. And what is it counting down to? You guessed it, mold. 24 to 48 hours. Seriously, write that number down, because that's it. That's the window. In the right conditions, mold spores, which, by the way, are pretty much always in the air around us, can find a nice damp spot and start growing in as little as 24 hours. That is an insanely short amount of time to get things under control. And if you live somewhere humid, oh boy, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. When the air itself is already loaded with moisture, the whole process just accelerates dramatically. The environment is literally working against you, making it super easy for mold to take hold and almost impossible for things to dry out on their own. Okay, so that's the scary part. With all that in mind, how do you actually fight back? How do you do it right? Well, that brings us to the solution. And it's not about grabbing a shop vac and calling it a day. It's about a systematic, professional process that's designed to handle both the damage you can see and, more importantly, the damage you can't. So professionals, they don't just run in randomly. They break the chaos down into 3 really clear phases. Phase 1 is the emergency response. Get all that standing water out, like right now. Phase 2 is the science part, strategically drying out the entire structure, not just the surfaces you can touch. And then finally, phase 3 is the rebuild, putting everything back together and restoring your home to exactly how it was before the mess even started. Now, I called that second phase the science phase for a reason. This is so important. This isn't just about pointing a bunch of fans at a wet wall and, hoping for the best. Proper, effective restoration is a discipline that's totally rooted in science. And part of understanding that science is knowing the difference between 2 words you'll hear a lot: mitigation and restoration. They sound similar, but they're totally different. Mitigation, that's the emergency response. It's all about damage control, stopping the problem from getting any worse. Restoration is what comes after. That's the actual rebuilding, repairing, and replacing what was damaged. So you might be wondering, how does a pro know when a wall is actually dry on the inside? They don't guess. They follow a super rigorous science-based guide called the IICRC S500 standard. You can think of it as the official rulebook for water damage. It tells them exactly what to do, and this is the crucial part. It defines the specific moisture levels that different materials like wood or drywall have to reach to be considered officially properly dry. And this quote here really nails it. Proper water damage restoration requires understanding psychrometrics, the science of air and moisture interaction. Okay, psychrometrics sounds complicated, right? But what it really means is this. It's the science of controlling the air to make it pull moisture out of materials. Professionals manipulate the temperature and humidity to create the perfect drying environment. It's not just blowing air, it's making the air thirsty, so it literally drinks the water out of your walls. That's the difference between guessing and knowing it's dry. Okay, so now that you know all of this, the hidden dangers, the ticking clock, the science behind the solution, let's put it all together. This last section is your playbook. These are the clear, actionable steps you can take if you ever find yourself facing a water emergency. So let's put you in the moment. You walk into your house and disaster, a major leak. The clock is ticking. What are your first moves? What do you do in those first critical minutes? All right, here it is, your immediate action plan. First things first, if you can do it safely, shut off the source of the water. Next, get your valuables, your furniture, anything you can move out of the way. But, and this is so important, before you move anything, pull out your phone. Take pictures, take video, document everything for your insurance claim. Then you make 2 phone calls. Number 1, to your insurance company. Number 2, to a certified professional restoration company. And really, if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this: speed is everything. A fast, professional response is what minimizes the damage. Every minute you wait is another minute that water is seeping deeper, causing more trouble. Getting experts in quickly isn't just about getting cleaned up faster. It's about preventing those huge, long-term problems like mold and structural rot. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Knowing what you know now, is your home really ready for a water emergency? Do you know where your main water shutoff is? Could you find it in a panic? Do you have the number for a trusted restoration company saved in your phone? Because being prepared, that's the first and most important step in turning a potential catastrophe into just a manageable problem.